Hi, I'm Sunil Sundaram, the pastor of Conshohocken United Methodist Church, which is here in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. Today we're going to do a story about generosity. Not our generosity, God's generosity. Jesus tells a story about workers in a vineyard. Here it is, Matthew chapter 20, verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them out to his vineyard. About 9 in the morning he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. He told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right." So they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. About 5 in the afternoon he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, "Have you been standing around all day doing nothing?" And they said, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You also go and work in my vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning from the last ones hired, going on to the first." The workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon came and each received a denarius. So when they came, who were hired first, they expected to receive more. But each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. "These who were hired last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work and the heat of the day?" And he answered one of them, "I am not being unfair to you, my friend. Didn't you agree to work for 1 denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want to do with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous?" You may think, is Jesus saying that it's, fair practices to give everybody equal and, set one worker against the other? Not really. Jesus is actually saying there's nothing unjust about what the owner did. What he's trying to focus on is the people who are hired last. I want to read those words again. The owner asks, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?" So obviously they have been there. And they answer, "Because no one hired us." Because no one hired us. They were not working because no one wanted to get them to work for them. And I'm thinking, why? Is it because people are prejudiced? They don't want to hire some people? Is it people don't like some people that they don't want them to work for them? Is it because they're not qualified enough? Is it because they don't have the kind of personality that makes them hireable? I don't know why, but some people just don't hire a group of people. And that's why they don't have work. And Jesus says, my generosity, God's generosity, stretches to the point of saying there is no one, even the ones that the world will neglect, there is no one that goes beyond my eyesight, that is ignored by me. I see you, even if the world does not. I love you, and I've come to call you because you have a purpose. I used to go into prison, and I used to God used to remind me every time I went in that even those that are in prison have a purpose. And so no one can be neglected. We need to look at everyone that comes to us that God can use and say, if God has a purpose, maybe I can see them like God sees them. And God gives them the same amount, not because He wants to say, the person who came first and worked are less valuable. No, He's saying you are in my sight as valuable. He's not trying to promote business practices. He's trying to show that is my generosity. How are you generous? Are you generous the same way God is generous? The way He sees people? And He says, I see people as people that are potential with a purpose, because those are the people that God might end up using the most. That's God for us. How are you because of that? Thank you so much for joining us for this week's story. Please Watch us on our YouTube channel at conchaunited.com and on our Facebook page, and tell others about us. God bless you.